What's up guys, GoodRS here, back with another Jujutsu Kaisen Manga chapter review. Today we've got chapter 158, and let me tell you, it's one of the most eventful and exciting chapters in a long time. Not only does Hakari join the boys in their movement against the Culling Game, but we also meet another ancient sorcerer like Sukuna that's participating in the Culling Game. As always, remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more Jujutsu Kaisen content, and now let's get into it. In case you missed last week's video, chapter 157 showed Hakari and Yuji's one-sided battle, in which Hakari just continuously beat down Yuji. It was a sort of test to see if Yuji was worthy of Hakari's support in time, and Yuji passed with flying colors. His convictions lie in his role to defeat cursed spirits, and this made Hakari realize that he too was best off when he was helping people. He agrees to hear the boys' proposal, and that's where chapter 158 picks up. The opening panel of the chapter perfectly captures everyone's initial reaction when finding out that Gojo is sealed away. Hakari's absolutely astonished to hear the news, and Yuji follows it up with some even worse news. Principal Yaga's death hits Hakari pretty hard. Not as hard as it hits Panda, obviously, but nevertheless, it still hits. As we found out a couple chapters ago, Hakari and Kirara are suspended from Jujutsu High due to a clash with the conservative faction of the higher-ups. Gojo and Yaga were two of the opposite factions, so they were actually on Hakari's side for the most part, which makes it make sense when Hakari says that the people he's indebted to are going, one after another. On a side note, Principal Gakuganji at Kyoto High, who is one of the conservatives, was actually the one that kills Yaga, so it'll be interesting to see what Hakari would do if they were to cross paths. Anyway, Hakari then says that this news is very depressing before declaring that he will help the boys in their mission to stop Kenjaku and the Culling Game. He makes it clear that he isn't going soft, however. In exchange for his help, he expects the boys to help him with revisions to Jujutsu law after all said and done. A while back we learned that he plans to revise the law so that he can be mainstream and legal with his fight club. So this is what he's referencing here. Megumi nonchalantly states that whatever he wants can probably be achieved pretty easily, as he's now the head of the Zenin clan. This right here blew Hakari away. He sees this as a goldmine of opportunity, and then has one of the comic relief scenes that I mentioned last week, saying that he and Megumi need to get along. Unbeknownst to them both, Maki would go on to destroy the entire Zenin clan the very next day, but that possibility never occurred to them during negotiations. Now, the focus shifts to the Culling Game, and specifically to where everyone is going to go, when a loud Shikigami-like figure known as Kogane shows up and announces that a 9th rule has been added to the Culling Game. Now, all players can view every other player's information, like their names, their points, the number of times they've added rules, and what colony they're in. We then shift to a new guy with a hairstyle similar to Chozo's. He kills someone in his opening panel, and he earns 5 points for it according to his own Kogane. If you didn't know, Kogane is a kind of gamekeeper that keeps the stats and points of each participant in the Culling Game, and each participant has access to this intermediary at all times. Anyway, this new guy says that everyone he's met and killed so far are weaklings, and that 400 years ago, there were stronger opponents. Think about that for a second. He's been around for 400 years, or he's been revived like Sukuna. Speaking of Sukuna, he's looking for him. So this tells me that he's either in cohorts with him, or he wants to fight him since he's a worthy adversary. He's racked up 200 points so far in the Culling Game, and Kogane offers to let him add a rule to the game for 100 points. So, he loses 100 of his points to add the 9th rule that we just mentioned. It allows him to see everyone else's information. Here his name's revealed to be Kashimo Hajime. He's definitely going to be a big player in the game, so remember that name. Now, we go back to Yuji and the gang talking to their own Kogane. They understand why Kogane told them about the new rules, but not why it stuck around after that. It says that it's acting as the intermediary for player Yuji Itadori. But this makes absolutely no sense, as Yuji hadn't infiltrated a colony or been distributed a cursed technique or object by Kenjaku. We then cut over to Kenjaku himself, who states that the people who ingested cursed objects, like Yuji ate Sukuna's fingers, are now considered players because the original owners of the objects made vows with Kenjaku over the course of history. Sukuna is now a player because he made such a vow over 1,000 years ago. So now Yuji himself is considered a player as a result of this. Yuji and Megumi figured this out, and while Yuji ate the finger of his own free will, which would disqualify him as one who received the object from Kenjaku, Megumi hypothesizes that participation in the game could be part of the binding vow that Sukuna made with Yuji before reviving him back at the beginning of the story. Yuji doesn't remember what was part of that contract, so he doesn't know what's going on. Anyway, they now have Kogane show them the list of players, and they find out that Kashimo Hajime is the culprit behind the rule change. They see that they can use this new rule rule to their own advantage when they enter the game themselves. By filtering out all but those with a large amount of points, they can target the people with a lot of points and not kill anyone innocent. They can force those with high points to add rules, and they plan to immediately make Kashimo or Higurumu Hiromi the only participants with over 100 points to add a rule that allows innocent bystanders like Megumi's sister, Sumiki, to leave the game altogether. Before they can do this though, they have to add a rule that allows the transfer of points between participants so that their points total can change without killing anyone. For context of this, if anyone's points total remains the same for 19 days, their curse technique will be removed, and this will likely cause their death. Finally, they plan 2 more rules so that points can be spent to exit the game, while at the same time forcing a non-participant to take their spot in the game. So to bring it all together, they're about to set out to hunt Kashimo and Higuruma to force the creation of these rules, while at the same time the search for the release of the prison realm that's trapping Gojo is underway. I know this is a lot to process, it's even confusing me a little bit, so if you're interested in a video that goes in depth about the Culling Game and its rules, let me know down below in the comments. Hopefully, in upcoming chapters we see both Kashimo and Hakari's curse techniques, so let me know what you think they're capable of down below. This chapter's been very important I feel like, so I really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the breakdown of it as well. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe for more anime and manga content to come soon, check out the video or playlist linked on screen for more, and until next time, peace.